Arun, welcome. A tragic incident has occurred at a Christmas market in Magdeburg, Germany, where a Saudi Arabian doctor deliberately drove into a crowd, resulting in the deaths of at least 2 people, including a small child, and injuring dozens more. Authorities have indicated that this was a targeted attack. Footage from the scene shows numerous emergency services vehicles attending while people lay on the ground. The driver of the car was immediately arrested and later identified as Taleb, a 50-year-old doctor from Saudi Arabia. Taleb's had come to Germany first in 2006 to work as a doctor in a small town 25 miles south of Magdeburg. According to reports, the suspect rented the car shortly before the attack and was not known to authorities as having an Islamist background. Meanwhile, Saudi Arabian Foreign Ministry has condemned the attack by not mentioning the suspect in their statement. The White House is also closely monitoring the situation in Germany. Joining us live at this point is Suresh Kumar Goel, former diplomat. We also have Professor Rohan Gunaratna, international affairs expert, joining us live. Sumit Peer, political commentator, is live with us. Gautam Mukherjee, senior journalist, also joins us live. Let me make a start with you first. Ambassador Goel, what do you make of this tragedy in Germany at a festive time and at a Christmas market? Ambassador Goel, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Ambassador Goel, did you hear my question?
No, I didn't.
Ambassador Goel, I was trying to ask you about this tragedy that has occurred at a festive time at this Christmas market. What do you make of it?
Very unfortunate, of course, and it's the very fact that people have lost their life, the kind of the action that was taken place. So very, very unfortunate and very sad. But more than the other aspect, more than that, really, I consider it rather tragic and very sad that the issues which are now coming up in this kind of an action is a kind of a polarization of the society in Europe, which is indeed upsetting and depressing, really. When you have this kind of an action by somebody who has been there in Germany for a long time and who is being described to belong to a particular religion, a particular community. So clearly, when this and the Islam and Sheikh, somebody from the Arab countries who has settled there and who is working there and who has undertaken this action. So what I sense is that this kind of an action is further going to aggravate the situation and polarize the society in Germany. And that is what actually I think is the most upsetting part of the whole action. Uday.
Okay. Let me, in fact, quickly take that across to Professor Gunaratna as well. Professor Gunaratna, what do you make of this incident, the modus operandi used, and the details prima facie available?
Who drove the car and who did the ramming attack in Germany, I'll give you a little bit of his background. He was born in Saudi Arabia in 1974. He came to Germany in 2006, and 2016 he became a refugee. So when he first started his life in Germany, he was a very aggressive critic of Islam in history. Right? In fact, he condemned Saudi Arabia and he said there are fears of persecution because he was an unbeliever and a critic of Islam. He specialized in psychiatry and psychology. So what we have seen is that just before the attack, that Friday evening, he posted several videos on X. So he told 3 very important things. One is, he said that the Athenians executed Socrates for his criticism of religion. This is what the terrorist attacker said. Another reason he said is that he said that the Germans are pursuing him. And he said if Germany wants war, we will have it. And if Germany wants to kill us, we will slaughter them. And he said that that he is happy to die and even to go to prison with pride. So my view is that a person like this should have been monitored, and there should be adequate legislation to monitor them and also to preempt their actions. So we are currently in a phase where if we don't have robust legislation, we cannot maintain security and stability of the world, because there are so many different ideologies, and these ideologies are driving people either to the right wing or to the left wing, or to Islamism or to ethnic nationalism. These are the main ideologies. But governments must be strong, and governments must be far reaching to prevent and preempt this type of attacks.
Yes, let me in fact quickly take that across to Sumit Peer. Sumit Peer, a Saudi Arabian doctor reportedly. What do you believe? What do you make of the identity of the perpetrator of this crime? Also, what the motive could possibly be?
Uday, thank you for having me on your show. Let me put up a few points for perspective. First of all, this man was a known Islamist, and what we are calling as a tragedy is not a tragedy; it's a mass murder, because you are ramping and BMW at 150 into the people, knowing you will kill people. And out of these 80 odd people who are injured, around 27 are critical. So half of them are not going to make it. As per some media reports which I was reading on the western side, they are already claiming 12 or 14 people are already dead as we talk. By the evening, the number might go up. So now you know you are going to commit a mass murder, and even in the boot of the car, there are some possible explosives which are found there. Now the man is an Islamist. He doesn't like Germany. The problem is that he has been there for last 17, 18 years. This is a lone wolf warrior attack. This is a mass murder wherein you keep a person, you give him a disguise of a doctor, he gets into the society, he gels, and one fine day you use him at the right moment. Look what did the Tunisian do. The Tunisian did a same attack in Germany a couple of years back. He killed 12 people. Then there was one Afghan guy who stabbed 2 police walas. There was a knife attack by one more Middle Eastern guy. Again, the problem is with Germany, who let so many refugees in. Now, where do you find Angela Merkel today, who let 1 million people into Germany? And look, there are no-go zones of German police in Berlin, sir. And I have been very frequent to Berlin a few years back. There are no-go zones in Berlin itself. You can't go there. This is what it means. This is a war of ideology. You might be having Hamas and Hezbollah, but you will have implications coming in your Berlin. The problem is when you hate anything that is Western, you hate anything that is not Islamic, anything is a kafir. Everybody and anybody is a kafir. And then the classical card is what? Kashmir, Kerala, Israel, Netherlands, Germany, to everywhere. Then the card is a victim card. No credit card, no debit card, by default victim card. And who are others? They are Islamophobes. They hate Islam. They have perpetual fear of Islam. But when I ramp my car into a crowd of people and I slaughter people, I'm planning mass murder. I am just a frustrated person. I have something against Socrates and Aristotle and all that. These all the stories they give. But what I see, that Germany is heading for a big time trouble. The German intelligence has to be aware of that. And what I was reading, which is shocking, Uday, Saudis wanted this man extradited. And you know what the Germans do? Some crazy European Union human rights law. They say we will not extradite it because you might do atrocities against him. Will Mr. Olaf resign now? Mr. Olaf, you and your government, which is so-called liberal and left-leaning, refused to extradite an Islamist to Saudi Arabia. Now you have your people killed on a Christmas market. Will you take the responsibility? Will you resign now? And now you have the audacity to go and say, we are fearing for the worst to happen. Now, what is the worst to happen? The worst is when a few hundred people get killed. When next time it's a couple of trucks ramming into a Christmas market. That is the worst you are waiting to happen. Uday, this is the hypocrisy. And unless and until you have these governments who call spade a spade, who know what is right, who know what is left, who know what is wrong, how can you let an Islamist go free? And what about 1 million people which are imported from Syria? And if the ratio is 10:1 or even 100:1, you just had 18 pade likhe jihadi who brought down the World Trade Center, sir, 18 of them. And this is one man who has slaughtered around 20, 30 people. What more do you want? This is the new form of Islamic terror, and still you want to be goddamn politically correct. You don't have courage to call it Islamic terror. You still want to beat around the bush and talk of all grandmother stories and talk of the Germans. You don't have the courage to call your people are slaughtered. Shame on you. You don't want to still call a spade a spade. That is the tyranny of the Germany. And if Germany tries to be politically correct, You will have, unfortunately, you will have more Germans killed. I like Germany, allow them, great people. But if you're incompetent leaders, they'll only get you killed and killed, and will then they will try to be politically correct, try to say, oh, this problem, that problem, that problem. And one more myth is busted today, Uday. We were always told these jihadis unpad hote hain. They are illiterates, they are madrasa chap, they are brainwashed. This man is a doctor, sir. Ayman al-Zawahiri was a doctor. Osama bin Laden was an engineer. Now, what do you say to this? Now, there's a new breed of jihadi jo padhe likhe bhai. They are qualified doctors and engineers and all, but they believe in the Islamic jihad. And the world is trying to be ostrich, not calling spade a spade, finding reasons to call another thing, and that is how it happens. And when Donald Trump calls it out, then all the guns go blazing against Trump. How the hell you call it? Because the problem is being politically correct. The problem is like not addressing the problem. And I want to question through your channel, will Miss Angela Merkel answer today? Where has she gone in hiding? Not even a single word from him. After this disaster, you don't owe Germans a word and you don't owe Europeans a word. France, same problem. Netherlands, same problem. Germany, your same problem. England, your same problem. Kashmir, mein same problem. Kerala, mein same problem. Yeah, har jagah it's the same problem, same mentality which hits everywhere. And then the classical victim card. Then there will be a classical counterfire. Oh, ye tha, wo tha, deranged tha, dimag kharab tha. I mean, for all the things, you are not deranged, you are not dimag kharab. But when you exactly know when there's a Christmas market, the Christmas is around the corner, there'll be Germans, go and kill a few of them and they say, I am ready to die. The challenge here is a lot of people who believe in life after death. And this is the same breed of people which are hitting Germany. The problem is with Germans. If they are not stopping or being politically correct and calling spade a spade, I'm sorry, Uday, this won't be the first. My heart goes out for those poor people, those bichare jo Christmas ki shopping kar rahe the. Imagine my, family, your family, or anybody's family there who have gone to do festival shopping for let's say Navratri, let's for a Krishna Janmashtami, and this happens. And the problem is you have such markets in New York, you have such markets in Chicago, you have such markets everywhere in Europe and America nowadays. Is Islamists and jihadis are targeting these markets. I think it's a wake-up call for the world. Before shit hits the fan, do something about it. Uday.
In fact, take that to Gautam Mukherjee. Gautam Mukherjee, what do you believe could be the motive behind this possible crime? What do you make of the modus operandi followed by this individual who is the prime accused?
Well, it's organized, to a large extent, taking off from where Sumit left off. You'll see the regularity of these events over the years shows you that it is organized, this is political, and it is jihad. Now, that Europeans have brought it upon themselves by letting in millions of people from the disturbed parts of the Middle East is evident, and that is why the right in Germany, Elon Musk said, is its only hope. Its economy is in a shambles, which makes this kind of thing worse because everybody is suffering economically, and that's where religious fundamentalism gains ground. What are you going to do about it? I think mass deportation is a luxury that the Europeans can afford because after all is said and done, these people are a very small percentage of the overall population and can be sent back. Trump will show the way. He is already and has deported quite a few and will deport people with a vengeance as soon as he comes in. And it offers a blueprint, and it is something that these people in Sweden, in Britain, in Germany, in France should adopt. And those of the people of minority and ethnic origins who are militant and who may be citizens, they should be disenfranchised and once again either jailed or deported. You have to go about it in a very organized manner. This hand-wringing and saying, oh, this is a one-off and the man is deranged and so on, is a way of papering things over and not doing justice to the victims who are innocents. We used to have this in India routinely. I remember Sarojini Market, Bombay, Bangalore, bombs would go off, people would die. But that was in the last regime where this sort of thing was condoned. Now you don't get it. You don't get it because the consequences are being felt. And the more you visit consequences on jihadis, on terrorists, the less terrorism you will get. And, it is a matter of keeping up the pressure. And if you don't, then this kind of thing will only grow. Not only are they attacking, but they're also taking over entire areas. As Sumit was saying, there are no-go areas. There are no-go areas in Paris, there are no-go areas in Berlin. There are entire counties and districts in Britain which are, turning Islamist and wanting to proclaim Sharia law. One piece of information that came by, a news item: the most popular name in Britain today is Muhammad, followed by Noah. Noah used to be the most, Noah, of Noah's Ark fame, was the most popular, but now it's Muhammad. Can you think of what is happening all over the West? Uday.
What do you make of the frequency of such incidents, happening at festive occasions? Is this a concerning pattern?
So I like to make observation that
Ambassador Goel, that question was for you. Okay, I think we've lost Ambassador Goel there. Yes, Professor Gunaratna, you were coming back in. Please go ahead, Professor Gunaratna.
Yes, I want to tell you that Islamism is a major threat, political Islam. But in the case of Talib Abdul Mohsin, who conducted this attack in the Christmas market in Germany, he is not an Islamist. His motivation, I have examined his social media footprint, he is a right-wing extremist. So I want you to know that he is in fact a critic of not only Islamism or political Islam, but of Islam. And he has engaged in certain activities that even the Saudi government, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, wanted him extradited more than once from Germany to Saudi Arabia. So we must be very careful of coming to a quick conclusion and saying that Talib Abdul Mohsin's attack is motivated by political Islam, in my view, based on his social media footprint. Although Islamists have repeatedly attacked the Christmas markets around the world, especially in Germany, this attack, the motivation clearly demonstrates that he is a right-wing extremist. Right-wing extremism is on the rise. Most of the right-wing extremists are white, but we have seen a few instances of others who have been influenced by right-wing extremism, who are from outside the Western countries, but especially those who are living in the West. They have joined some of these movements. And in the case of Talib Abdul Mohsin, that is the case. But this once again calls for the security and intelligence services, the law enforcement agencies, to act very decisively and not permit anyone to be driven by any ideology, whether it's right-wing, whether it is left-wing, whether it is religious extremism, whether it is ethnic extremism, to stage attacks. So this is an attack that calls for global action. And during this period, there will be other attacks. This attack will influence others, both Islamists and non-Islamists, to stage similar attacks.
Uday, can I come in now?
Yes, Ambassador Goel, I think you're back with us. Please go ahead.
Yes. Uday, thank you very much. The question that you put to me, and basically I agree in a great extent with what Mr. Gunaratna has said. Now, the today's discussion really proves the dangers of these kind of events, these kind of incidents or events, the actions taking place in the Western society, particularly in that sense. Now, I do agree that there is a lot of backlash against the leftist liberal society in Europe. The rise of right-wing extremism in Europe is palpable. We know it is happening there. French politicians proved it. Now, the danger, as I said in my initial remark, the danger of these events is, these incidents is that we begin to immediately profile the people who engage in these kind of attacks racially in terms of religion. Now, I do remember that in Europe, Europe and every other places also, these kind of in the USA, these kind of actions, attacks have where you actually drive. Recently, there was such an action in the USA. You drive the truck right through the crowd, and those people who drive, who do engage in this kind of action, are either mentally deranged or they are extremists. They're Christian extremists. They are not from Arab countries, or they're not Islamists. Therefore, what I would agree that when these kind of things place, we need to investigate them and put the culprits immediately to action, so that these are not encouraged, and that anybody who engages in these kind of activities are suitably punished, and avoid the danger of profiling people. That can be the biggest damage we can do to any society. Today.
Yes, Sumit Peer, I'll leave you the last word.
Uday, a couple of points to make here. First of all the major media of the world, go and do a Google search, are classifying him as Islamist. ये मैंने word नहीं invite किया, ठीक है? Second thing, Saudi Arabia calls him an Islamist. Elon Musk calls him an Islamist. US Federal Department is calling him an Islamist. And if he's some deranged person and all, and he is not a Muslim fanatic, why didn't he go with this car and ramp into a mosque, ramp into a Muslim bead? Why did he choose a Christian bead and Christian shopping, and he exactly ramped into car into that? What were explosives blowing in his car? So are we, if there is America, if a Christian gets into a Christian market, we still understand there's no religious connotation to it. We have an Arab Muslim who was living there. He planned this attack. He goes and attacks a Christian market at the time of a Christian, where there are other similar patterns in the world. And this is, I'm even ready to die. What is his cause of dying? So even if we want to say today he's not an Islamist, then either US State Department has lost its heads, Elon Musk, all the major publications, including all the major Indian publications, I can name if you want, I can name all of them, and all the like-minded people in the world who believe that, this man was deranged and all. If he was so deranged, there are a lot of Muslim ghettos in Berlin. If he gone with his car there, then we could still understand. But why did he choose a Christian market and Christians and Christmas to do his attack? And then he says, even I'm willing to die. We can choose to be political ostriches, try to be politically correct, but political correctness costs more lives. Before Prime Minister Modi, we used to hear similar statements from here. When there was a Bombay attack, we had some journalists from your fraternity, not your colleagues, who come, oh, look at the resilience of Bombay. Look at how Bombay has come back. Now, what has changed after Prime Minister Modi came in? They don't dare to do it because Islamabad mein bomb phatega. Their terrorist camps will go into pieces. That is the difference. The point we are trying to make here is stop being politically correct.
Okay.
Stop giving them
Okay.
intellectual.
We'll have to leave it at that. My thanks to our guests for joining us on this discussion.